First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your first alert forecast. 19 News starts now.
We're making friends and, just doing what we can.
The TSA crisis grows, and now ICE showing up in some airports, including CLE, today to help out security lines that are snaking around airports as TSA agents continue, at least those showing up, to work without pay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Duffy. Other airline issues, a deadly collision at LaGuardia in New York.
Yeah, we have been covering that. Now, the arrival and departure times at Hopkins seem to be back to normal because they shut down LaGuardia for quite some time today. It's back open now, so certainly this has had a ripple effect here in Cleveland.
That's right. Our Harry Boomer has been at Hopkins most of the day. Joins us live with what's going on out there. Harry, what can you tell us?
Well, Brian and Nicole, as you can see, only a few people taking to the skies here at Hopkins right now. Some of them had their flights canceled or delayed because of the deadly collision at LaGuardia. There is another difference folks here are seeing: ICE agents rolling through the airport. Traffic flow has been light to moderate most of the day here at Hopkins. Business as usual. However, the main difference is the presence of ICE agents walking through the main concourse. They are not wearing masks per President Trump's orders. They appear to go through security checkpoints and cycle back through the main concourse again. Here is a statement from Hopkins' spokesperson regarding ICE agents being here. Quote, Cleveland Hopkins International Airport is aware of the presence of federal partners on site. These personnel are supporting TSA operations in a non-screening role, including assisting with passenger flow and divesting. They are not conducting identification checks or screening passengers. There is no impact to passenger travel or airport operation at this time. Travelers should proceed as usual and arrive as recommended for their flights, end quote. We did get a chance to talk to air travelers about the presence of ICE here at Hopkins and delays because of the deadly collision at LaGuardia Airport overnight in New York. Some are hesitant to give their opinions, others not so much.
Yeah, literally just walked in. I didn't have any interaction or see anything.
What do you think about them being here or at airports around the country?
Boy, hard to say. I don't want to say anything that I shouldn't say.
Whatever you feel. This is America still.
No, I'm not. I'm going to pass on that comment.
All right, good. What do you think about them being here, period?
ICE. I don't think they should be here.
I think it's
get them out of here.
I'm very mindful of. I'm an immigrant myself, so it's uncomfortable having them here. Yeah, not a fan. But in terms of the flight with LaGuardia, it's definitely scary. It's scary to see that sort of thing in a headline.
Well, if they don't bother me, I won't bother them.
That works.
But I'm not crazy about ICE. Let's just put it that way. I'll be on record for that.
All right.
And I'm not crazy about Trump either. I'll put that on record.
So far, things are going pretty well here at Hopkins. There have been no confrontations with ICE, and they were ordered here and at other airports around the country. As they say, all's well that ends well. It's going pretty well right now. At Hopkins, I'm Harry Boomer, 19 News.
All right, we have continuing coverage on the nation's air travel crisis, and that it is exactly that. Ahead, an update on the investigation into the deadly accident at LaGuardia. At 4:30, a look around the country as ICE agents work at airports nationwide.
Well, the latest now in another situation at Hopkins. A Frontier Airlines plane and a vehicle tug at the airport collided. So the tug is used for towing vehicles on the runway. This happened just before 1 this morning. No one was hurt. And investigators tell us the vehicle tug wasn't in a locked position, so it rolled and hit the plane.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Well, remember yesterday we were in the 70s, even some 80s away from the lakeshore. Columbus, Ohio hit a record high yesterday of 86. Well, now we're back to reality, actually colder than reality. Live look right now, Edgewater Beach, mostly cloudy skies, and it is chilly. Nobody on the beach. How about this? First Alert Camera Network from the Great Lakes Science Center. Again, a relatively chilly day considering where we are in the year. We should be at around 50. We'll make a run at that tomorrow. But for tonight, few flakes around. Snow has been flying around this afternoon. It's not really accumulated to much of anything, but the flakes have been flying. Windy and cold as we head through the day tomorrow. some warmer sunshine, a little bit warmer. Any snow chances should really diminish overnight. As we head through Thursday, thunder threat returns, and that will also come with some falling temps later in the day. Right now, take a look at First Alert Doppler. We're in the 30s with scattered snow up and down Interstate 90 through Geauga County as well. Now, when the sun begins to set here in a few hours, we may see a little bit of this start to accumulate on some grassy areas. But right now, it's mainly just flying around out towards Medina. And as you head farther off to the west, some light snow. Same deal here out towards Sandusky. There could be a little rain mixing in as well. The wider picture, though, shows the chilly air coming in off the lakes with that light snow. And that's going to continue here overnight. And we're not going to warm up anytime soon. We'll talk more about Thursday's thunder threat coming up. Brian.
Okay, Jason, thanks. Developing details now. First at 4, a judge shuts down an unlicensed daycare after a baby died in its care. Brittany Weir live in East Canton now this afternoon. Brittany, with what we know right now.
Yes, a family is now mourning their 8-month-old baby boy, Grant Simmons, and a Stark County judge is making sure that the unlicensed daycare where he died does not reopen their doors as the East Canton Police Department works this investigation, trying to figure out exactly what happened inside that home.
We have a baby. He's not breathing. He was napping.
This is the dispatch call that East Canton Police received on March 10th. They were told 8-month-old Grant Simmons was inside this home on South Market Street and was not breathing.
My mom's trying to do CPR on him.
Paramedics rushed to the home and brought Simmons to the hospital.
Can you contact Holton and let them know we have an 8-month-old co-terminant?
Sadly, Simmons died. When officers started to investigate, they discovered something alarming. The home where Simmons was found was operating as an unlicensed daycare. According to a civil complaint filed by the Village of East Canton and the state of Ohio, one of the 2 daycare operators told officers they watched between 5 and 10 children at the home. They charged families roughly around $45 a day, paid in cash. But the complaint reveals they had no CPR training, no baby monitors or cameras, no emergency plan in the event of a fire, and no proper sleeping arrangements. On March 17th, the village learned the operators planned to reopen the daycare. But on the 20th, a Stark County judge granted a temporary restraining order shutting down the facility. 19 News reached out to the operator's attorney. He said, because this is a matter of both a pending investigation and pending litigation, I cannot comment on any details beyond what is stated in the court filings. A preliminary injunction hearing is set for April 3rd. No criminal charges have been filed yet, and the investigation remains ongoing. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner is performing an autopsy on Simmons. And we reached out to the East Canton Police Chief. He says he extends his deepest condolences to the Simmons family, and his officers are committed to this investigation. However, at this time, he cannot release any new information, but we will continue to reach out and bring you more once it becomes available. In East Canton, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
Now your 19 First Alert traffic update.
If you're about to be heading out and then heading north on 71, this First Alert traffic is for you. You want to pay attention to first responders that are in the area working to clear this crash that involves not just this car that you can see is clearly off-road, but move all the way over here. Here's another car that is right in that fenced-in area that separates this grassy part from the railroad track. So if you're about to be heading this way again, watch out for first responders that are working to, well, they were working to clear this. It looks like they're just going to leave them here right now as crews are pulling away as we speak here. So I'll be keeping my eye to see if perhaps there's a tow truck that will come at a later time to get both of those cars back on the road and then on their way. But so far, as you can see, this is not causing stop and go traffic. You no longer need to move over right now because of first responders, but just want to let you know about that. And we'll go through the other issues that are going to be impacting your commute in my First Alert traffic updates.
Well, it is a story that shows why checks and balances are important, and it cost one elected official his job.
So the announcement came today from the Ohio Attorney General. Banderos is here to explain and break it all down.
In the Attorney General's words, Dave Yost, this is someone who tried to play King Midas with money that wasn't his. This is Robert Matthews. He was the fiscal trustee for Miami Township. Miami Township is just outside of Dayton. Here's what we're talking about. This is actually pretty astounding. I've never heard of anything like this. Again, he is the fiscal officer. It's an elected position, but more of a clerical position. Now, he may go over the books and the budgets and everything, but he has no power to use or spend any of the money, and that's exactly what he tried to do. The bank had to alert the trustees, the rest of the this community there, to say that, hey, in March of this year, he tried to withdraw $9.7 million, and according to him, and he had a one-day trial that was an emergency trial to see if he should be removed, he wanted to buy gold coins with it as an investment for the township. Here's the problem. That purchase of $9.7 million in gold coins was going to cost $380,000 in transaction fees. And oh yeah, they go ahead and hold on to the coins for you, and they charge you $32,000 as an annual storage fee. All of this he was doing without the legal authority. He has now been barred from public office. He's not facing any charges. It does appear he was trying to do this on behalf as an investment for the township, not as a chance or an opportunity to steal $9.7 million worth of gold coins. Brian?
2 pilots are dead. Dozens of other people injured after a plane crash at New York's LaGuardia Airport.
There are questions now about air traffic control leading up to last night's accident. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says LaGuardia is well staffed but still faces shortages of air traffic controllers.
Jared Hill has the very latest now from LaGuardia.
Critical black box data has been recovered from the crashed Air Canada Express passenger jet, sources tell CBS News. Overnight, Flight 8646, moving about 100 miles per hour on the runway, collided with a rescue vehicle. Air traffic control had cleared that fire truck to cross the runway for another incident, but seconds later, the controller tried to pull back permission.
Stop, truck 1, stop.
The nose of the plane was crushed and the pilot and co-pilot killed. The air traffic controller could be heard discussing the incident with the pilot of another plane.
That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know, I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up.
No, man, you did the best you could.
Aviation safety experts say the controller's tower directions will be part of the NTSB's investigation.
One of the things that the NTSB will be looking at is the controller's workload and, of course, situational awareness.
The airport, which typically moves about 90,000 people a day, reopened this afternoon, but passengers were told to expect more delays and cancellations. This family trying to get back to Houston was in a holding pattern.
Frustrated, exhausted. We have a baby with us, so it's really hard.
Other flyers try to keep it all in perspective.
Feel horrible for everyone impacted directly or indirectly, and just wish the best for people.
FAA statistics show there were more than 1,600 runway safety incidents in the U.S. last year.
LaGuardia is one of 35 airports in the United States with an advanced surveillance system to help keep track of planes and vehicles crossing runways.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast, certified most accurate since 2004.
All right, live look right now. This is from our Parma camera here at Padua High School. Looking north, there's downtown Cleveland there in the distance. A few flakes flying around today. You know, yesterday we were in the 70s, and many of us actually inland were in the 80s. Now, along the lakeshore, we were a little bit cooler than that, but way above normal, and today, back into the 30s. We've had massive temperature swings this month. Now, we get that in March, probably more than any month, but boy, even this month has been a little wild. Clearing skies tonight, clouds will eventually erode, cold, a little on the breezy side as well. Tomorrow's a better weather day. I think we're looking at a lot of sunshine to start the day, then some clouds will move in during the afternoon, and we're watching for Thursday some thunder, and really also not only thunder, some potential heavy rain threat on Thursday, especially Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. Temperatures right now low to mid 30s. A little bit of light snow out there, eastern Cuyahoga County through Lake, through Geauga County as well. You can see that darker blue indicating where it's just coming down a little bit steadier. It's mainly just these, thick snowflakes here. If they do accumulate, we're talking about grassy areas, maybe patio furniture, just a little dusting there, a coating. Akron down to Canton, some light snow. Also a few flakes as you head off to the west. Could have some rain mixing in a little warmer air out towards the Sandusky area. Wider picture shows what's happening. It's actually lake enhanced a little bit. Just a little trough coming in, and it's getting a little help from Lake Erie. It's not a lot, but eventually this will scour out really over the next 2 to 3 hours. By 8, 9 p.m. tonight, we should really start to say goodbye to that. The warm temps that we dealt with yesterday, Athens, Ohio was at 90 at some point yesterday. That warmth is all the way down to the south. Look at Charlotte, though, still hanging out in the mid-80s, so not that far away. Hour by hour temperatures mainly in the 30s. Any flakes should be out of here by 9 or 10 p.m. tonight. You can see gradual clearing overnight. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine to start the day. More sun around lunchtime. I do think a few clouds will start to filter in during the afternoon. We'll be a little bit warmer tomorrow, mid to upper 40s away from the lake shore, a little cooler right along the immediate lake shore. What about Wednesday? Wednesday, we're warmer yet. I think we'll make a run into the 50s Wednesday afternoon. Looks like we're dry until late Wednesday night with a few showers coming on in. Ups and downs continue. Here's the heavy rain threat on Thursday. Could have some severe weather as well. The 19 First Alert weather team is watching this. We'll likely issue an alert for Thursday. Colder on Friday and then a little warmer for the upcoming weekend. But it looks like, kind of like today, that will be what we'll deal with on Friday once that front comes through. Mid-20s tonight. That is cold for late March. Temperatures recover a little bit tomorrow. We're at 45. Sun to clouds. Here's our 7-day. Milder on Wednesday near 60. That's okay. Thursday, showers and storms late. I think the morning could be okay, 65. But then we go back down into the 30s on Friday, warming up again as we head into the upcoming weekend. Nowadays, we get a cold air snap. It's really just for basically one day.
Now to your top 4 at 4. Hopkins released a statement saying it is aware of the presence of federal partners on site. They say the agents, they're supporting TSA operations in a non-screening role. So that includes assisting with passenger flow. They're not conducting identification checks or screening passengers. So the airport says there is no impact to passenger travel or airport operations at this time.
Oh my God.
A huge house fire in Cleveland's Glenville neighborhood now being investigated as a possible arson. Now, this happened early Sunday morning just before 5:30. That's Lakeview Road. Firefighters think someone started the fire in the basement. The damage is around $194,000. The house is going to have to be torn down.
3 people have been arrested for violence at an Elyria apartment building. That's William Jaworski, Alicia Witherspoon, and Isaiah Reddick, all charged with aggravated riot and assault. Saturday, officers responded to Midview Crossings apartments. 1 person had been shot, 2 others were hurt. All 3 were rushed to the hospital. They are expected to survive.
President Trump says he is postponing a threat to wipe out Iran's power plants. He says the U.S. and Iran had productive talks to end the fighting. It's one of the reasons the market exploded today, but the Iranian Foreign Ministry says there have been no talks, direct or indirect, with the U.S. president. President Trump now would not say who his administration is talking with because he doesn't want them to be killed, but says it is not Iran's new supreme leader.
Family and friends of U.S. service members recently killed in the Middle East are honoring their memories.
Funeral services were held Saturday at the Kentucky High School where Staff Sergeant Benjamin Pennington graduated in 2017. The 26-year-old died from injuries during an Iranian strike on a U.S. base in Saudi Arabia earlier this month. Major Jeffrey O'Brien and Sergeant Declan Cody were laid to rest in Iowa Sunday. They were among 6 U.S. Army Reserve soldiers who died in a drone strike in Kuwait on March 1st.
The sky is still blue, yet it's a little grayer. For today, we say goodbye to our comrade and brother. Farewell, my friend. Rest now. Your mission is complete.
At least 13 U.S. service members have been killed since the U.S. and Israel's war with Iran began in late February. The Pentagon says about 140 other service members have been wounded, but most have returned to duty. A local contractor promised to build dream homes. Instead, he forged documents and stole millions of dollars from people who had trusted him.
Now he's going to prison. Pete Tursik was in the courtroom as the judge handed down the sentence.
You ran a Ponzi scheme. There's really no other way to put it.
19 News covered the saga of Jeffrey Crawford for the last 2 years. The Avon contractor deceived his clients and stole nearly $3 million from them. Families trusted him with their savings. Instead, he forged documents. He lied to the banks. Today, he is going to prison for at least the next 4 years. A judge also ordered Crawford pay his victims back. The prosecutor told the judge exactly what happened.
By the time he got to the end of these loans and had pulled all the money out, the houses weren't done. 2 of them weren't even livable yet, and a bunch of the contractors and subcontractors hadn't been paid.
In February, Crawford pleaded guilty. His 6 victims are from Lorain, Trumbull, and Cuyahoga counties. He stood before the judge and tried to apologize.
I've never intended to hurt anybody. I've always had platforms that help people, not hurt them. Unfortunately, some bad decisions, trying to make it happen, trying to keep it going, people got hurt, and I am so sorry for that.
Somehow, not every one of his victims wanted him to go to prison. Dawn Zinni said she believed his apology. Crawford took her son's money, left to him by his deceased father. She asked the judge to give Crawford a chance to pay it back.
This money that was taken was my son's. It was left to him by his deceased father. We don't have a whole lot of money.
The other victims felt differently. They were disgusted.
And it's not just the people sitting in this courtroom that you victimize. Contractors that didn't get paid, your family that's going to have to suffer through all of this. And again, this ain't nothing of the loss of the money that, I mean, frankly, is probably never coming back.
Kate Tursik, 19 News.
Cops pointing guns at other cops. Now, this is not a scene from a movie. This is real danger playing out on some Northeast Ohio streets as drug task forces unknowingly work the same targets.
There's a new man who's now leading Ohio's war on drug trafficking, and he's already facing a tough question. Why are all of these agencies still working in the dark? 19 investigator Mike Mason has the story.
Drug traffickers know Northeast Ohio well, and so do the agencies trying to stop them. The problem? Those agencies don't always know what the other one is doing.
Sweet. That's in her purse. Meth.
Last year alone, Ohio agents seized 5,700 kilos of crack cocaine and methamphetamine, and they confiscated nearly 250,000 doses of fentanyl. Now a new director is taking charge, and he has a clear goal in mind.
Primary mission is to disrupt and dismantle those high-level drug trafficking organizations.
This past January, Andrew DeSerto was named the new director of the Ohio HIDTA program.
HIDTA stands for High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area.
HIDTA is federally funded, working alongside local, state, and federal law enforcement to target the highest-level drug traffickers.
You know, some people know them as cartels, right? The cartel organizations that are bringing drugs and poisons into our areas and killing our people and our youth.
Ohio's HIDTA covers the entire state, along with portions of western Pennsylvania and northern Kentucky. Within that region, HIDTA coordinates 39 separate local task forces. However, if an agency fails to log one of their operations and another moves in on the same target, officers could find themselves face to face with each other. That's called a blue-on-blue situation.
You don't want to have a blue-on-blue. Correct, and that's a big concern.
Lorain County Sheriff Jack Hall agrees.
Cops are pointing guns at other cops because we don't know who they are in this undercover situation.
And this has happened?
And this has happened in the past, yes.
Hall says last November, his detectives were running an undercover operation when federal agents arrived without warning.
We've actually been set up in locations in which we've observed the vehicles and equipment of other law enforcement agencies that are looking at the exact same target that we are, and we were never advised of it.
We took Hall's account directly to DeSerto.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Is that something that you're going to make sure never happens again?
That's something I would definitely follow up on. I could go to the leaders of those agencies who can do something about it and say, this is a problem. You know, here's an example of when it occurred. I need you to now work on this to ensure this doesn't happen again.
DeSerto says he plans to reach out to agency leaders to address the breakdown. Sheriff Hall says he'll be watching.
Officers are supposed to enter all of their drug operations into the deconfliction database. That way every agency knows who's working on what. According to HIDTA, last year it deconflicted 2,700 incidents and apprehended 9,500 fugitives. Mike Mason, 19 News.